Yeah.
And I think this is probably a good segue. Grant Cardone. So I know you know that's coming up, right? You know that's coming up.
Yes.
We had a Zoom call and you mentioned Grant Cardone's been on over 12,000 podcasts, which is amazing.
Yes.
But what it does for his personal branding and, of course, again, opening doors to opportunities is going to be an awareness. Is going to be crazy, and you're going to have a similar impact going down the same path as well.
Yeah.
Of course, you mentioned capital, so of course he's got Cardone Capital and all this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I mean, what's it like kind of working in with him and his team, and what have you learned the most?
I think the Grant Cardone, by the way, if Grant Cardone experience.
Yeah.
So this is again, this is a big investment for myself again. This is another 25 grand. This is for a 2-day one. This is a 2 days.
How did I feel?
Man, you know what? At a time, I just thought, you know what? I have the money.
Yeah.
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I know the price is only going upwards.
Yeah.
So I'm in a position, I'm here. I had to do a lot of things to make that actually happen. So I had to extend my flight. I was in Miami. Had to then fly to Cabos, which is Mexico. I had a family occasion thing. I had to tell everyone I'm not coming home. I'm going to come back in a few days' time. So I'm going to miss that, unfortunately. And they all kind of understood as well, which is good. So they were supportive of it. Like, do what you need to do, man. We get it. So, yeah, the Grant experience, the 2-day mastermind. I was in a room. This is the room that I felt like I was nothing.
Yeah.
Because everyone in there, like, we kind of went around talking about like what you do, what business, what kind of revenues you're seeing, and man, these guys are like doing multi-millions. And people in there like 40 million, 20 million. That's
like it's not.
I think the lowest number I probably heard in a day maybe like 5 in their business, 5 million in revenue in their business.
What, per year?
Yeah. So they're all, and again, the ambition, to the growth they want to get to, like they're like, we want to get to 100 million. Some are talking about getting to 1 billion within their business industry. And and again, like what opened my eyes was like, all these guys in business, they weren't doing anything creative. We had construction companies, landscaping, someone making manufacturing pasta. We had someone selling cotton. The guy was doing 40 million in sales, trading physical cottons, like transporting cotton, making sales on cotton.
Possible.
And these, again, if you look at, we need these are things we need every single day. Like
that's why it's possible, because everyone needs a place to sleep, everyone needs a place to eat. Someone said, there's like a quote, like if you want to make money, like if you give someone a place, if you focus on place to sleep, place to eat, then you'll make lots of money, basically.
100%.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, these are huge market sizes, and that's what kind of opened my eyes. I think from that, being in that business room, these guys are in market sizes that are in the trillions or billions.
Yeah.
So them even, it sounds amazing that they're doing 40 million, but 40 million compared to the market size, you're even non-existent. Nobody knows who you are. I'm sorry. Which again is insane.
Felt like Pluto in the solar system.
Literally, man. Oh man, so it kind of got me thinking like, there's so much opportunity to grab a market share. So when I mentioned the agriculture thing in Ghana, like in Ghana or whatever, that's hundreds of billions in industry.
Yeah. So
me even to collecting $1 billion, which I promise you I will take $1 billion in that industry. I'll probably go on and recognize, but the point is like, it's not huge. Like, it's still 1% of 100. If it's 100 billion, it's still only 1%, which is insane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So 1% of market shares is nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, if you can tap into big market shares, you haven't got to reinvent the wheel. You haven't the market already exists. People are making money from it.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get a piece of it. So the bigger the market share, the chances are you can walk away with a significant amount of wealth from just being a little player in that market.
Yeah, I mean,
which is insane.
Your network is your net worth, right? And if you spend enough time around those people, there's only a matter of time when you're gonna, that's gonna rub off.
100%, man. I'm so grateful for that experience. Like priceless. I would not take that back.
Yeah.
I came back different. I'm different now. I'm wired different. I see things differently.
It's open your mind up.
Honestly, game changer. Best thing this year so far.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy experience.
Wow. I've really enjoyed this conversation, Alfred. Just to wrap up here, what would you say are like tips for people that maybe want to get into just like one tip, particularly the people that want to get into property? And also, I know you also that's not your only business. Like being in property, you're also an entrepreneur. Like you're also looking to acquire businesses in the haulage industry. Of course, we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Maybe in another episode we can go into that a bit more and why you're going into the haulage industry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You want to acquire business that cash firm, is it for the cash maybe earning about maybe millions, 3 to 5 million revenue per year, stuff like that?
The bigger the better. Like
I
want to buy a business that's profitable, already operating, proven test of time. Again, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm trying to buy something that already exists.
Yeah.
They've done all the trouble, the hard work. Now I'm going to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and there's parallels, right? I mean, in property, you
100%.
can acquire property from a retiring landlord. Make it acquire a cash flow asset and then go on to the next one.
100%.
Same thing with businesses, right? If all the numbers stack up,
Yeah.
you acquire that business and then you can maybe take that business to another level.
Exactly.
And then make it cash flow even more money. So what tips, going back to my question, what tips would you give to someone that wants to get into property and what tip would you also give to someone who wants to leave their job and maybe, get into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I don't really want to advise like people. I'm not a big person to say leave your job.
Yeah,
I think,
of course.
but I guess everyone can have a plan to want to exit their company for whatever reason. That's fine.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest change for me was going into new rooms. Like, how can you expect change in your life by surrounded by the people that are doing the same thing that you're currently doing? You can't. It's impossible. I'm sorry. You're not gonna get it done. So get into these new rooms. Get into the rooms of the people that you're trying to become. Because being immersed in that world, you're seeing it day to day. You're learning from them. That's now showing what's possible. Because again, in your world currently, you're like, nobody around me buys property. Nobody even buys businesses around me. So how you can't? It's impossible. You don't even know how.
Yeah.
So you have to start researching. Again, this is all on personal. I guess you as an individual taking time out of work in the evenings, and this is what I did in my career. I'll finish work, go home, gym, whatever, go home, do some research, watch business interviews, just learn what's worked and start getting the insight knowledge to where I can kind of go and access more knowledge. So for me, get in the right rooms, get in the right communities, get knowledgeable, and the rest will happen. So I think just getting that new room, someone will introduce you to somebody else, or someone will introduce you to an educational company, or someone will introduce you to a book to read.
Yeah.
So that kind of opens the door to kind of start exploring that avenue. That makes sense. So that's my only tip I would say.
Everything comes together. It all kind of converges, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what would you say is the sound of Accra to you? If I mention Accra, what thoughts?